Well, hello.
What you guys don't know is this is take 4 due to technical issues.
We're also filming this on the iPhone. We were filming it on the Osmo Pocket.
3 times.
I'm so defeated right now.
We're like, who wants to do this stupid video anyway?
Anyway, we're
So-
gonna run like a little mini podcast, and we're gonna do half of it here, and then we're gonna do the other half on Josh's channel. We're gonna talk about what the heck we're doing here. So, just for a little quick setup, this is what's happening. This monstrosity of, let me show you the back end because we have a skirt on it. And welcome to Josh's garage. It's just like mine. So you see two big lights, 600X and the 720D from Nanlite. And then we're running it through a piece of 4x4 diffusion. Vanna over there showing us. We got a little skirt off of the big lantern that we own that we just picked up at NAB. And then the nice big 8x T-bar of diffusion. So the idea here, you're not going to tell very well off of this iPhone, but it's fine. The idea here is that we are trying to
Key against the outside.
Yes.
So we've got a setup coming up this week that we scouted for last week, where we're doing a corporate office interview. We're working for another production company, and so we're coming in just to do gaff and grip and provide lighting and all that for them. And so we did the scout last week, and we're going to be shooting into a corner office with a view up, and out the windows. And so we want to be able to expose nicely and fight against the sun coming in the windows. The windows are tinted, so it's not even going to be as bright as this scene. But we're like, if we can make this scene work, no problem, then we'll be good there.
Yeah. So we want to see green trees. We want to see blue skies. We want it perfectly exposed. We don't want it to be like almost exposed. It's brighter outside, and we want it perfectly exposed. So that's what we're looking to do. We could go 1200D, maybe. But we're trying to see if we can pull it off with our lights without having to rent something, because this particular location is the only place we're going to need this high power.
Right.
But we might have 2 days.
Schedule is still pending, and so there's 2 interviews at this location. Hopefully they're both on the same day.
Yep.
Maybe they won't be. So we want to make sure our bases are covered. We don't have to rent a 1200 for 2 days.
I think we have 3, but 2 of them are going to be fighting against the window. So
Right. 2 interviews against
the windows, and the other one's going to be in a cool boardroom and all that good stuff. But we're going to be fighting against those windows, and so if they happen to get scheduled on 2 different days, now we got to rent something for 2. So we're trying to see if we could do it on our own. Obviously, if we need it, we rent it, we get it done. Yeah. But we're trying to see when we have enough firepower. We have Josh's 720, we have my 600X, we have my 600D that I have at my house for my YouTube studio, and it's like, well,
that's cutting there.
yeah, it's starting to split. It's drooping.
So, yeah, because it's not clipped. So there we go. We're finding problems and fixing them on the fly. That's why we do test days like this.
Yep. And this is kind of the thing that I was saying in like take number 1 or 2 that did not get recorded, that did not come through. But it was like, you know what? Nobody wants to go on set and look like an idiot. So we're testing all of the variables right now in Josh's garage. And here's the other thing that we kind of talked about, or I talked about in the earlier take. You guys got to keep an eye out, because on Josh's channel, on the Storyking Studios channel, we have something coming out where we tested a bunch of different setups against a book light. You know what a book light is? It's that really soft light where you're shooting into a piece of diffusion, bouncing it out the side or the angle to get that super soft light. And
ask Mike to do that.
not happening. Physically, it ain't happening. But so we finally put all of our theories to the test because we had the time, and so you gotta just stay tuned to the channel. It's very eye opening.
We spent 4 hours.
Yeah,
filming lighting setups.
Yeah, we spent the whole day basically in my garage filming the lighting setups. I'll have the behind the scenes, but he's gonna have the actual tests. We used the Ursa Cine 12K LF, and we got just all the different scenarios. We got revelations as to what softboxes did what and what is more beneficial. Can we get the same quality of light if it's on that new light panel, the Godox F200R that I have, and then save space and time by setting up only one light stand? So don't you like it when I'm sitting here just talking and Josh is doing all the work?
That's okay. It's usually the other way, Mike. But Mike can't do the midget squeeze that I can do. Pros and cons, you know.
You can't say, Josh, you can't say midget. You're going to get cancels. Little people.
I didn't say midget, Mike. I said smidge. I said, I said
we don't
smidget,
care about
a
this.
smidget.
We don't care about that stuff. Midget.
Canceled. Canceled. Mike.
Cancel me.
Okay, giant.
Watch the algorithm just kill the video. Anyway.
What's up?
Anyway, so that's what we're doing today. We're in here testing, trying to see.
Gosh,
you know,
that's bright. Don't look at that.
What can punch against the sun through a window? And it's like if we could do it right here in the garage, you know, where it's just shade. It's not a tinted window, so that's full sun out there. And if we could punch against that, then we know we're going to win in the office where those corner windows are tinted. So we know we're going to win. And it looks pretty good, just from my eye.
Yeah.
It looks pretty dang good.
We're close enough. Like, I know we'll be good against the tinted windows. We're not quite there against this. But we know we have a 600X, which is not full power.
Right.
To the.
I mean, it's at 100% right now, right?
Right. But because it's a bicolor light, you don't get as much power.
The real estate, and that's the other thing. Maybe when we break this down on Josh's channel, you'll see the chips on those lights. The chip on the NAM light, the 720, is just way bigger.
Yeah.
And then you just think about the 600X has this much of a chip, and then not a half, but like a quarter of that power is going to the other temperatures. So you're losing light. So that's why we'll bring up my 600D. So initial thoughts, we thought, okay, 720 at 100%, and just a little kick from a 600 should get us where we want. Dead wrong. We're at 100% on both.
Yeah.
And it's still like.
And we want more.
So what do you think you're as far? You're about 2.5, 3 feet? No, you're definitely more than 3 feet. Because that would be like 3 feet. So yeah, you're about like 4 feet.
Yeah.
So being that far away,
we're kind of. I'm like, when I was doing it with my hand, I'm like, right in here is kind of the edge.
Yeah.
Here, you push another foot, it's like, man, look how much light you lose.
Is dramatic.
Just at 1 foot. Like if I step 1 foot back, just massive fall off. And we know our subject is probably going to be 5, maybe even 6 feet from our source.
Yes. So our DP already told us he wants his A cam to be pretty wide.
Right. He wants to be like on a 35 on a wide shot. So we know we need to have some space to the modifier.
What camera is he shooting on?
So he's shooting on Reds. I forget which one. I think he said V.
It's not one of the new ones. So it's not going to be a Raptor or...
No, it's not Raptor. I want to say he said the Vista.
So Vista Vision sensor. That's what I was asking.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to know.
It's Vista Vision. I don't remember which red it is, but it's the...
And that's the kind of point I was kind of get at. So if it's a 35 Vista Vision, that means it's slightly larger than full frame.
Larger than full frame.
So that means more...
I mean, you're on 35. 35's a 35, so...
That's true. Well, yeah.
No. On a full frame, whatever. On this vision, you will see a little bit more.
You can see a little bit more of the edges.
Point is, plan for like a 24 on full frame.
So it's going to be wide, and that's what we're trying to say. So that means this distance. And I think the reason why it falls off so much is because of our diffusion. The more diffusion we put,
100%.
the more it just...
Because...
It's soft, but it's also more fall off.
Yeah. If you drop this... I mean, that light carries...
Yeah.
I mean, we're like all the way over here, and it's carrying fine.
Yep. Your shadows are a little bit more harsher. And this, guys, is what we did the other day. So, as I'm saying, you got to tune into that if you care about lighting stuff. If you don't care, then...
Because, I mean, this is burning my retinas.
It's tough, man. And I could feel the heat from here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were all about LEDs, and you're not going to feel the heat. Oh, you're gonna feel the heat.
You do now.
If you have enough power, you're gonna feel the heat. So, and I will add this, guys. When we've had 300s. When we started working together, Josh had two 300Ds.
And 300 was a big light.
It was big. The one thing that I started off with the Godox SL60Ws. I don't know if some of you guys are old school. You remember that light? It was so cheap, so amazing. It was an aperture killer. It wasn't an aperture killer, but it was just a great light for a cheap price. But I remember going from the 60 watt light to the 120 watt light at aperture, and it just wasn't that much of a difference. And I remember I got a 150 Godox light, and we went from the 150 to the 300 aperture that Josh had, and it wasn't that big of a difference. So I'm like, although the numbers are double, the output is not necessarily double. It's just the consumption of watts. And if you have any experience with that, drop it in the comments. Let us know.
While you're talking, I'm just curious how much of an effect I'm getting from moving this. If you want to stand at like the position we think they're going to be. Yeah, I'm just going to move this in and out while you're talking.
So I'm saying all that because it's like we got 600s. We were like, yes, the pinnacle of firepower. And what we're coming to find out is that even though it's double as 300 watts, it's not double the power. What did we say it was? One stop? Stop and a half? From the 300 to the 600? You're not even paying attention.
I know, I'm not paying attention.
He's just looking at the light.
I'm looking at the light.
So, when we got from the 300 to the 600,
right?
How much more power was it in light?
I don't.
Stop and a half?
300 to the 600? No, that was dramatic. That was dramatic. Because it was also Gen 1 300 aperture 300s.
Well, remember, we're talking 600, not the 720, because the 720 is just a whole nother game.
What light are you comparing it to then?
My 600 to this 600? Because it feels like the difference between that 600X to this 720 is at least one stop. Like, that's what we're saying right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge difference.
Right.
But when it comes to like a 300 to 6, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that if we get a 1200, we feel like it's going to be double what a 600 is. It's double the watts and the electricity power, but it's not double the light output that you would get in the sensor. So,
I mean, you can check the foot candle ratings.
Yeah, the lux, whatever.
Yeah, right, but you got to remember, foot candle ratings, you have to compare at the same distance.
Yep.
Because one of them's like foot candles at 3 feet, one of them's foot candles at 1 foot. What?
For those of you who don't know what that is, that's when you use a light meter to measure the light.
Right.
Which is a dying art, for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why we're in here in the garage, and we're getting. If anybody's familiar with like gym, this is bro science, which means we're just figuring it out as we go. Nothing, no real science, just bro science.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out as we go. So
well, and we've learned a lot over the years, and we understand a lot of things, but sometimes it's theory until you actually try that particular thing, which is why we did that lighting study day last week.
The light setting, yes.
Where we're like, let's take all these things that are theory and try them, and all these ideas we've had, what if we did this and try it?
So what did you find right now as you were moving it in and out?
So I found that it makes a difference in the softness, but not a huge difference in the light output.
Really?
There is a small difference. I mean, I don't have any way to measure that, but I'm like, it's no more than half a stop, probably a third of a stop.
So more softness the closer you got.
Yeah, which we already know that.
Yeah.
The bigger your source is apparent to your subject, you could take an 8x, put it 20 feet away, and it feels like you're pointing a hard light at somebody.
Yeah.
You take it, a 2x and put it right here, and it feels soft. It's apparent size.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it didn't make as big of a difference as I thought it might, moving it in and out, which ultimately, you think about that makes sense, because this has a certain amount of light transmission. The difference is how much it fills the frame, because if it's pushed way up against here, it's not filling the 8x, and so now it's a smaller source. So yeah, it's all softness. I did feel like the farther away from the light, it did eat a tiny bit more light, and I think that's just you're losing light and losing light again, whereas the closer it is, you're not losing as much. I think it's all just about fall off.
Yeah.
Because you're soft, fall off, and then you just lose a lot of light that way.
Yeah.
So I think that is just about fall off. I don't think it's about anything else. This thing's bright. I feel like I'm gonna hurt my eyes.
It's crazy how much power, though. And the first time we set this up, like I said, we thought we were just gonna blow it out, and we turned them both to 100%. And then we looked out at the light, and we were like, "Aw, it's not strong enough," which is crazy. But I mean, it's the sun. So,
right.
Again, this is a great use of time for like when it's like we have.
Yeah, we're in between. I mean, like we got stacked up. We got 4 shoot days this week.
Yeah,
so we're busy, but we have today to prep for those shoots.
Well, and the thing is previously, again, answered prayer. God filled our calendar.
Amen.
So before that, we didn't have a full calendar. So we're like, well, what do? We got like one project to edit. So what do we want to do? And that's when we're like, let's fill our time with shooting. Let's do some light tests, and that's exactly what we did. And I love it because it's like now we're not going to go with the same thing that always works all the time.
Right.
We're going to go for the best outcome, and we're actually trying it out. Just like Josh said right now, it's not what I thought it was. I moved it closer, it got softer, but and so we're testing these theories. It's the experience we're putting under our belt so that when we get on set, it's like, I know what works.
Right.
It's not what I think what works.
We've
I know
done
for
it.
a fact.
Yeah. And there's value in the theory, but there's more value in the experience.
Yep.
Because sometimes you're going to get on set and find, I've never tried this, but it should work. And sometimes it does. And you're like, yes, genius. And sometimes you're like, well, that didn't work. Wasted time. Now we have to figure out on the fly how to real fast fix this problem because now we're out of time and this didn't work.
Yep. The other thing is we're also testing electricity, but we'll talk about that on Josh's channel. To be continued. Go over there. Bye.
Bye.
All right.